I have this gut-wrenching feeling that my wife has strayed from our vows. At 40 years old and after sharing our lives for an entire decade, I found myself engulfed in a wave of suspicion last night. My wife, who's 43, left the house claiming she was off to gather a few necessities for the home. This might not seem like a big deal on the surface, but it felt deeply unsettling given that she usually despises running errands like that. To add to my unease, she went out accompanied by a male acquaintance whose name I didn't recognize. Hours passed while she was away, stretching and winding, and every minute heightened my trepidation. Earlier that day, she had spent considerable time preparing for what seemed to be a special occasion. The kitchen was a whirlwind of activity, and there was an energy in the air that felt almost festive. As her absence grew longer and my thoughts darkened, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. During her absence, unease gripped me, leading me to rummage through our home, where I stumbled upon some alluring underwear she had bought. The items were clearly intended for moments of intimacy, private encounters that we had shared countless times, but now they appeared tainted by shadows of doubt. As the night unfolded, I tucked our children into bed, a task I handle single-handedly while she works outside the home, being the primary breadwinner. I can't say I mind this responsibility. I embrace it, and I've always respected her autonomy. Finally, she returned home, her eyes flickering with an emotion I couldn't quite decipher. When I probed for details about her day, she evaded my questions, claiming she needed to focus on personal growth within our relationship. She mentioned the man's first name, a detail that echoed in the back of my mind. I remembered seeing that name pop up in her messages over the past few months, but I hadn't thought much of it back then, since he was just another work acquaintance she frequently chatted with about projects. Yet, now, as I reflected on it all, it dawned on me that this was not merely a random encounter, but rather a culmination of shifting dynamics over the past few months. Our intimate moments had dwindled to almost nothing, and her demeanor had transformed into one of inexplicable hostility. Just last week, we'd had a discussion during which she boldly expressed that she no longer wanted to continue in this relationship, a declaration that felt utterly outrageous to me. To preempt any assumptions about my actions, let me clarify. I'm the one managing childcare, grocery shopping, household responsibilities, and working from home while she brings in the bulk of our income. I've consistently prided myself on being emotionally stable and mature. I keep fit and consider myself reasonably attractive, and I'm not the type to control her friendships, although the current situation painfully hints at the possibility of betrayal. The heartache I felt was overwhelming, a living dread that gnawed at my insides. With her growing irritability and sparsity of communication, it felt nearly impossible to approach her about the feelings swirling within me. I simply couldn't muster the courage to confront her. This account is penned anonymously, as I am far too embarrassed to address this under my real identity. I find myself at a crossroad. Perhaps it's best to end our relationship, but I fear what that could mean for our children's sense of stability. If I choose to pursue separation, would the fault lie with me? Then came an unexpected twist. We finally managed to talk it through. To my astonishment, she confessed she had been communicating with that man for a fair while, and at one point, she had indeed considered becoming intimate with him. However, she stated that the attraction simply wasn't there, and in light of that realization, she backed away from pursuing anything further. Apparently, he had shared his emotions, expressing a desire for more, and that awakened in her a curiosity, which led her to engage with him. She even purchased some of his artwork before moving on. Despite her declaration that her interest in him has dwindled, her intentions to spend some time together did raise some red flags for me. Out of curiosity, I probed deeper, asking if she wanted an open relationship. To my surprise, she agreed. This brought me to the next unthinkable question. What does this mean for our future intimacy? Her response sent my heart plummeting. She indicated that it was unlikely we would share that level of closeness again. This was a chilling admission. She elaborated that she no longer wished to be romantically involved or engage in intimate encounters, yet expressed a desire for freedom if she ever changed her mind down the road, especially following her recent disappointment. Despite this, she assured me that she wanted to maintain our family unit intact. To my bewilderment, I was granted what feels like a permanent hall pass, a liberty that allows me to come and go as I please without needing to justify my whereabouts. We find ourselves navigating this bewildering new terrain together. I am uncertain of our future, but aware that I cannot dictate her choices regarding monogamy, just as I hold no desire to initiate a separation. This new arrangement leaves us cohabitating like roommates linked by legal foundations and shared financial ties. The emotional toll this has taken on me is immense. I feel as though I've entered the realm of an open relationship, a classification that, although disheartening, could have given rise to a far worse outcome. There's an inkling of skepticism about her sincerity from onlookers, and I understand that sentiment all too well. Yet, as I engaged in our discussion, she appeared honest, and for the first time in what feels like an eternity, her anger toward me subsided. Regardless of whether she acted on her impulses, there remains the reality that she contemplated infidelity and forged an emotional connection with someone else. This breach has shattered the trust we worked so hard to build, although perhaps that fracture was already in motion. It's a painful acknowledgement, but I recognize I've lost a segment of what our relationship once represented. I find myself grappling with this newfound reality and searching for clarity in a situation that defies easy answers. Just as life unfolds unpredictably, so too has my relationship, and now, I must navigate the unclear waters that lie ahead, attempting to find a semblance of peace amidst the chaos. I find myself in need of some time to truly process everything that has unfolded. These past few days have been a whirlwind, presenting challenges that have tested my emotional resilience. Update number 2 comes as a reflection rather than a simple report. I've chosen to share my journey as if I am keeping a personal journal. The kindness and support from those around me have been invaluable, helping me to maintain a semblance of stability amidst the chaos. Recently, my wife came to me, tears streaming down her face. She was distraught and confided in me that she couldn't grasp why she had chosen to jeopardize the life we've built together. Her love for me was palpable as she professed that I am the perfect spouse, and that together, we've created a wonderful life. Yet, despite these feelings, she expressed a sense of being overwhelmed that led her to take actions that were ultimately self-sabotaging. What struck me was her willingness to seek counseling. It was a clear indication that she recognized the gravity of the situation and that she didn't want our relationship to end. She reassured me that she has no desire for anyone else and is committed to making amends, seeking my forgiveness for what has transpired. In a surprising turn, she suggested that we keep our relationship open, something I had not anticipated. I didn't rush to a decision. I simply replied that I wasn't sure how I felt about it, and she seemed to process my uncertainty without judgment. Later that evening, she attempted to initiate intimacy, but I found myself hesitating. The lingerie she donned served as a stark reminder of her recent choices, and the sight of it left me feeling nauseous. I put up emotional walls trying to protect myself. This morning, while I was getting our children ready for school, I noticed a shift in her demeanor towards me. She was affectionate and kind, filling the house with compliments. The kids, blissfully unaware of the underlying tension, lit up at the sight of their mother seemingly returning to her former self. My daughter, with her innocent exuberance, exclaimed, "I'm so glad Mom is acting like herself again. Isn't that wonderful?" All I could do was nod and respond, "Yes." Fast forward to update 7. There are signs of improvement, albeit subtle ones. The man who instigated the initial turmoil reached out to her on social media, expressing his frustration over her silence. Instead of facing him directly, she chose to ghost him, leaving the door open for public speculation. As this unfolded, I felt my patience wearing thin. The fact that our lives were becoming fodder for social media scrutiny felt unbearable. It was ironic, given my current situation, but anonymity remained my shield as I shared my story. In a moment of clarity, I told her to leave for a week, emphasizing that I didn't care where she went, as long as she wasn't here. I wanted her to truly experience life without the comforts of our home and the support of our family. I aimed to show her what separation could feel like. Surprisingly, that week turned out to be one of the best I've had all year. Without her negativity lingering in the air, I found joy in small moments with my children, relishing time spent with friends and family without any drama clouding the atmosphere. My stress levels diminished significantly, and for the first time in a long while, I felt genuine happiness creeping back into my life. The feelings of loneliness still loomed, but I no longer had to grapple with her indecisive nature or negotiate around it. It brought a sense of relief that I hadn't anticipated. My children seemed to thrive in this new dynamic, enjoying peaceful evening phone conversations with their mother. I would never obstruct their relationship. They deserve both parents. But amidst these calls, I could see the burdens lift from their shoulders. She stayed at a hotel during that time, pouring herself into work and taking on extra shifts during the weekend to keep busy. When she returned yesterday, her affection was overwhelming, a stark contrast to her previous behavior. It was as if I was meeting a new version of her. This morning, she surprised me by making coffee and expressing how grateful she was to have me in her life. Her genuine words of appreciation, acknowledging me as an incredible partner and parent, struck a chord. She conveyed just how much she has missed me, and I could detect a sincere remorse in her tone. Although I understand that this journey of ours is far from over and will likely be filled with ups and downs, for the first time, I allow myself to feel a spark of hope for our future together. Meanwhile, I have been diligently hitting the gym, and it's paying off. My physical well-being is improving by leaps and bounds. Therapy has opened my eyes to what I truly want and has given me the tools to assert myself more effectively in this relationship. It's become clear to me that I deserve to be in a partnership where I feel valued and cherished. If this relationship cannot provide that, then I understand the importance of granting myself the freedom to step away. I am beginning to realize that my self-worth should never be contingent upon another's actions or decisions. It's important for me to recognize my own needs, something that remains an ongoing journey for me. I wanted to take a moment to share an update, as I've been receiving a multitude of requests for one. My spouse and I have been making gradual strides in improving our communication. The changes have felt refreshing, and I find myself going out more independently, embracing exercise like never before. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I felt this invigorated, maybe even a decade ago. Each time I venture out, I find myself the focus of attention from various women. It's an unexpected but pleasant shift. I've never had someone ask for my social media before, but apparently, that's the new way young women show interest. Our current circumstances have reached a level of stability, although I suspect our relationship is either on the brink of collapse or just hanging by a thread. Neither of us seems inclined to put in the work to revive it. It feels likely that it will simply fade away over time. Right now, our arrangement seems beneficial for both of us. I take charge of our children's needs, manage the household activities, and whip up meals while she immerses herself in her work and carves out time for her hobbies. We are both receiving what we need from the current setup. The physical side of our relationship has dwindled to the point of being negligible, but I've come to terms with that. I don't yearn for intimacy with her anymore, so there's no sense of neglect on my part. The thought of ending our marriage is daunting, especially considering our financial situation is just starting to stabilize. Remaining in this relationship appears advantageous for me, as our home environment has shifted from a place of conflict to one where I can explore new connections freely. Moreover, delaying the divorce seems like it might be financially prudent when the time finally arrives for me to initiate that process. So for now, I am choosing to remain. I've found myself becoming apathetic toward her infidelities. I've stopped responding emotionally to her actions. The person I thought she was has been revealed to be quite different from the reality. While I still hold some care for her, the sting of betrayal was too intense, and I no longer feel inclined to engage in typical spousal responsibilities. There's a distinct shift in my perception of our relationship. She has come to feel more like a roommate than anything else. In the meantime, I've cultivated a range of new friendships as a result of the open relationship status. I'm looking forward to exploring those connections further. Interestingly, it seems my spouse isn't actively seeking external relationships. I'm not keeping tabs, and frankly, it doesn't make a difference to me anymore. I have been astounded by the number of women seeking affairs. It's quite astonishing, and I would never participate in hurting another person in that way. Yet, Many of their stories resonate with my spouse's situation. Here they are, living seemingly stable lives yet searching for excitement elsewhere. It's utterly baffling to me. They should confront their relationships instead of looking elsewhere for fulfillment. This entire experience has been quite enlightening. I find my faith in women has diminished due to all that has transpired. So that's my update. My mental health is in a stable place. I consistently attend my weekly appointments, which have become a grounding ritual for me. Physically, I feel fantastic, and a sense of tranquility is slowly finding its way back into my life. My children seem to be thriving as well. We've been bonding over sports, video games, and outdoor adventures. They appreciate the fact that their parents can coexist amicably, which is such a refreshing change from the earlier tension when their mother would often seem angry and their father was weighed down by stress. Interestingly, my spouse has been flourishing in her job and pursuing her hobbies, and I find that most of our interactions have taken on a positive tone. It's remarkable to witness the transformation in our communication. What once was non-existent has evolved into a state that I would describe as acceptable, which I consider to be a significant improvement. While I harbor little optimism regarding the potential for salvaging our marriage, I am grateful for the current arrangement, as it offers me a haven where I can rest, gather my thoughts, and envision my life on my own terms. I understand that many people are rooting for me, and truthfully, I am managing remarkably well. I will make it a point to keep you all posted on any noteworthy developments as they come. Until then, I extend my heartfelt wishes for you to find as much happiness as you can in your own lives. If my story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more. I'd love to hear your advice on the steps I should take. Keep in touch for future stories.